Jonathan Shaw, founder of Decoding Pain, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the importance of having the right therapy. Now, why is this important to know? Well, if you don't have the right therapy, then you're going to end up paying a therapist thousands of pounds, going around in circles, and you're not going to get any better. Now, usually the therapy you have is based on a diagnosis. And last week I talked about how having the right diagnosis is very, very important. But even sometimes people do get the right diagnosis, but the therapy they're given is completely wrong for them. And the problem is you don't know. You don't know if the therapy is right for you. You don't know if what you're doing should be working, how it should be working. And this is really important for you to know and understand. And I'm going to give you a few examples of how the wrong therapy kept some of my clients stuck in pain before they found me and I applied the right type of therapies to them. So one of my clients who came to see me, he had chronic shoulder pain for about 3 years. And he'd been to chiropractors, he'd been to massage therapists, and he was going to see them once a week for about a year into his pain. And he'd been to doctors and they really couldn't help him either. But the chiropractor he was seeing couldn't understand why his spine kept going back out of place, and the massage therapist couldn't understand why the muscles kept retightening. And the reason was because those two therapies were the wrong therapy. They were treating the wrong problem, because his problem wasn't his spine, his problem wasn't his muscles, his problem was the trapped tissue between his ribs. He'd actually trapped soft tissue in his rib cage, and releasing the muscles and spine was the wrong therapy because it didn't address the trapped tissue. You have to release the trapped tissue if it's trapped, and until you do, the muscles and the spine will not realign, they won't relax, and they won't go back to feeling healthy and strong again. So in those two cases, it was just the wrong therapy for the wrong problem. And of course, he didn't notice at the time, so he ended up spending a lot of money going through this. Another example is a guy I treated many, many years ago when I first started, and he was suffering with a slipped disc. Now, he was seeing a chiropractor for that, and he'd been seeing him again, I think twice a week sometimes, for about a year, trying to fix the slipped disc. And this guy was a lover of golf, and his chiropractor told him he couldn't play golf anymore. Now, I'm the kind of therapist who doesn't stop my clients doing anything. I want my clients to go back and doing everything they want to do once they're fixed. I don't believe that you can't do things. I believe that you have to find the cause of your problem so you can go back to doing the things that you love. And this guy who came to me, he didn't come to me about his slipped disc. He came to me with a sciatic problem, and because his chiropractor apparently couldn't help with that back then. So I saw him twice, and I treated the sciatic nerve, I released it, and he was fine. But I also showed him what was wrong with his disc, why it kept slipping. And I showed him how to correct it with the right therapy. You see, the chiropractor was doing what the chiropractor knows. He was just clicking the spine and moving the disc back again, which is all very well and good, but you have to find out why the disc keeps slipping in the first place. That will be the right therapy. Understand that, and then you can apply the right therapy to it. So basically it came down to the fact that this guy wasn't moving correctly. He wasn't standing and sitting correctly, and his core wasn't very strong, his core muscles. So I showed him two things. I showed him how to stand and sit correctly so he wasn't putting pressure on his back, and I showed him how to strengthen his core muscles. I saw this guy a year later. He hadn't been back to the chiropractor, his disc had never slipped since, and he was back playing golf, and he'd come back to see me with a completely different problem. It's a good example of how the wrong therapy was not helping, but with a little tweak, a little understanding, the right therapy, he got his life back again. I'm going to give you one more example of how the right therapy can do worlds for you and how it can open up and really help you heal and get better. I had a guy come to me many, many years ago, when I first started again, in fact, and he was having blackouts. He was fainting quite a lot, and he was getting flu symptoms as well. And he'd been to hospital, been under hospital for about 6 months, and they didn't seem to know what was wrong with him. And he was actually quite scared. It was really worrying him. And his girlfriend at the time convinced him to come and see me. When I took a look at him, you see the doctors had been x-raying his brain and doing all those things, and he'd been sent for physio, but it was the wrong therapy because he'd actually trapped a nerve in his shoulder. Now, for those of you who don't know, nerves create all different types of symptoms because it sends a signal to that part of the body. And if you trap one of those nerves, it can manifest as those symptoms. So he'd actually trapped a nerve in his shoulder here. It was actually on his left side, but he trapped it on his left side here. And because he trapped that, it kept causing flu symptoms, it kept causing him to black out. So all I did was I spent a few weeks releasing that nerve, and over a period of time, the nerve released, his symptoms started to go away, and he started to feel better and better. So it's a good example of how the right therapy can do wonders, and the wrong therapy can actually keep you stuck in pain and keep you suffering for longer than you really need to. Now, I hope that made sense. I hope it gave you a good example of what I mean. In the next video, I'm actually going to show you how to know if you're having the right therapy. So how can you tell if you're actually having the right therapy? So stay tuned for that next week. Until then, stay healthy, stay happy, keep smiling, and I'll see you on another video. Oh, but if you would like to contact me, just one thing, and you want to ask me a question about your pain, then please feel free to email me, jonathan@decodingpain.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have about your pain and hopefully help you get on the road to fixing your pain and getting your life back. Until next time, take care.